So about a year ago, I moved out of my parents' house and I moved into an apartment. I've never lived by myself. I actually moved right in with my wife. Right after we got married, we moved in here. And today I just want to go over some of the things that I learned, some of the things that I like, some things that I didn't like, and where I'm going to be going forward with this whole renting process after a year. So the first one that I want to go over is don't be afraid to rent cheap. This apartment is a really good deal on rent. My family knows the landlord really well, and he's doing a favor for us. He could definitely be charging us more here. It's two bedrooms and 2 stories. There is only one tiny bathroom, which is next to the kitchen, and this building's definitely old. I don't know when it's from. This apartment is a double, and the other side is not being rented out. Um, so thankfully, we're able to use that for storage even if we wanted. But it is possible that we're the last renters here. It is an older building. There was like 1980s wallpaper when we got here. We did paint over that to make it look a little more modern and livable. But yeah, as far as what the landlord plans to do after we're out of here, I'm not really sure. But it's definitely worth it. That's because I think a big thing with renting, and I knew this going into it, renting is not something I plan on doing for the long term. Getting especially a good deal like this is just something that I want to use to be able to save more money to put a good down payment on a house in the near future. Another reason you'd want to rent cheap is everything's so expensive already. So, the lower you can make your cost of living, or I should say, your housing costs, the better. Back when I was living at home, it was nothing to just go and get Chipotle and forget about it. But now it's like, let's just get groceries, make meals for cheap and healthy as well, and definitely save money that way because eating takeout, let alone going out to a restaurant where you're leaving a tip and, just you might even get a drink when you're there. Those kinds of things really add up, and it's definitely something to see when you're actually paying rent. A big reason I did get Chipotle and things is, I'm pretty busy, but I also wasn't a good cook. I would cook like the same exact, if you can call it cooking, the same exact chicken crock pot meal all the time. And thankfully, my wife is really good at cooking. She really enjoys it, and I really love the food. So that works out for us. That's a way we save money by renting is just getting our food through groceries as opposed to eating out. With that said, I think another big thing is to make a budget. So a budget isn't really something I had when I was living at home. The money I would spend on food and things was far less than the money I would be making at wherever I was working or whatever I was doing at the time. So it wasn't really a big concern. And frankly, I wish I did do that and learned how to budget so that way when I have more expenses and more liabilities and assets, that it would be easier to learn it. I've started budgeting as I've been a renter, and I think it's a huge thing. It's definitely helped me see how much I'm spending, and we were able to cut costs in certain areas, because of this budget. We do pay the utilities here as well, and just being able to budget for that as well as the rent itself, and then things like our phone bill and the internet bill as well are just things that it's nice to have it written in the budget and to just know that you're going to be spending this amount of money on those things every single month. And going back to the whole food situation, we do still eat out, but now it's much more budgeted. It's something that we know we're going to be doing instead of just on the spot. We're going to have a plan for dinner because of this budget. So the next thing I would recommend if you're renting is make a schedule. I mean, this would go for home ownership too, but just having a schedule and planning your day because, when I was living at home, I was just maintaining my bedroom. So as long as that was clean, my chores were done. Of course, I would help out around the house, but it wasn't these things wasn't things that needed to happen by me. But now living here with just me and my wife, it's just the two of us. So, we're in charge of all the chores here. And a schedule really helps us ensure that they get done, whether it's dishes or just keeping the place clean. Because now it's more than just a bedroom that I'm keeping clean. And funny enough, my bedroom is probably the dirtiest room in the apartment now. But yeah, I've always been someone that likes to keep the area that I'm in clean, and just being here in the living room most of the time, or over where we have our video games and things like that. It's just really nice to have them clean, and that it's not something you have to be worrying about all the time. Or if you let it build up, then you have to take a whole day to clean it up. I find that just cleaning maintenance and keeping things clean all the time, even though you're going to be doing it way more often, it's definitely still worth it than just letting it pile up and get messy, and then it's frustrating to have to take a lot of time to clean that whole thing up. So now I want to get into my plan here. What's in store for the future for me? Am I ready for home ownership? Do I like renting enough to keep doing this? And what's the plan there for me? So I definitely don't plan on staying here long term. I would love to be a homeowner as soon as possible. I'm 25 years old right now, and I think it's going to be a little longer than I anticipated. I don't see myself moving out of this apartment in 2025. I think homeownership is probably something I would come across next year. With that said, though, I have been able to save a lot of money because this rent is a lot better than almost anywhere else that I would find in my area. It's been able to propel this process of homeownership. I have decided that I'm probably going to pay my student loans off in full. They've been paused with everything that's going on, and it doesn't look like they're going to be canceled. So I do plan to pay those off in full, and of course that would, bring the number of savings way down. But I think having no debt and not paying interest on my student loans will really help me in the long term with stacking money to be able to get a house. And even though I can probably afford, quote unquote, afford to have a house right now, I don't think I can afford it. And what I mean by that is I would love to be able to put a 20% down payment on my house, and I would love to be able to do a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. This way, it would prevent me from becoming house poor, meaning that I'm putting, X percentage of my monthly income towards housing. I would love to cap it at 25%, maybe 28%, and that would ensure that I'm able to, invest and continue to save and plan for retirement and, keep an emergency fund, all of those things. Something my wife and I have really decided on is that we do want land. I would say probably at least close to an acre of land, enough to be able to have a yard to play in, and also enough to have a garden and do some other homesteading things that we plan to do. Like I mentioned, definitely wanting to have a garden. And I would love to have chickens too, even though I'm allergic to eggs. And then I don't know if that would bring along like a little shed for places to do canning, or have a green room for plants and vegetables and things like that. But yeah, just enough land to be able to do those kinds of things and maintain a healthy lifestyle. And I think doing it through homesteading, even though there's more work that has to be put into it, it's cheaper in the long term, and I would say it's healthier as well. Another thing would be the location. I've mentioned on this channel a few times that I have a lawn care business. I plan on making videos about that in the future. But of course, that does limit the places that I can move to. I'd like to be close enough to be able to keep the clients I have. If I get to a point someday where it's doing well enough and selling the business is a possibility, who knows? It could even be something where I could keep the business, and then if I move far away enough, have enough money saved where I could rebuild the business wherever I move. So those are some plans that I have too. And, I'm really blessed to be in this renting situation that I'm in, just to be able to have those future goals and then have a well-priced rent here to be able to get me there sooner rather than later. And at the end of the day, if I was ready to buy a house, I would buy one. Who knows if interest rates go up or down. The prices of housing, I can see that continuing to rise, even if it's slow, just at least keeping with inflation. But yeah, the best time to buy is when you can afford it, and that's what I want to go buy. And if the right opportunity comes along, I would be ready for it. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments. Are you renting right now? Do you like the price you're paying for rent? Do you plan on being a homeowner in the future, or maybe the very near future? Yeah, let me know. I'd love to hear. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, definitely subscribe, stick around, and hope to catch you in the next one.